Today we're having a little bit of a throwback to 2001 playing Zoo Tycoon for PC. That's right, the original, not the god-awful one from like 2018 that everyone hated. And we're not playing Zoo Tycoon 2. We're not playing no Planet Zoo. We're going back to the OG. But enough of that. Nobody gives a fuck about that. Let's get right into the news. Big thanks to DJ Keemstar here in the studio for that epic intro. Brand new, hot off the press. This is not old news. We are here with the newest of news on RainbowFruit Radio. And today we have an exciting story. Donald Trump has confirmed he has been seen at Area 51 with a gray alien. Put in the towel, folks. This is it, alright? Any day now, Donald Trump is going to come out and just say it, alright? We have a gray alien strapped into a milking chamber in China. You guys know the video that Jordan Peterson retweeted of the guy getting milked while in full latex gear? Do you guys remember that little gem? That wasn't actually in China. That was in Area 51. And that wasn't a Chinese dude. That was a gray alien. What did you think our milk was made of this whole time? Do you honestly believe that we're harvesting milk from cows? You really believe that? Are you so naive that you actually believe that cows produce drinkable milk? Yeah, okay, buddy. Okay, buddy. The reality is, it's gray alien semen. No sperm. The sperm is removed. Just the semen. It's like getting the oil off the top of the pan. And by the way, this is why everybody wants you to drink raw milk. That unpasteurized milk. Because they want that gray alien sperm swimming around in their stomach. I better chill out, alright? I don't know if this breaks TOS or not. Let's take it a couple notches down here, alright? Let's take a few steps back. Let's take a little breather. I went in a little hard there. I'm just excited, okay? Is that so wrong? Is it so terrible that I'm a little excited that we have undeniable photographic evidence that gray aliens are being handcuffed and sent away to the prison camps in Area 51? I mean, it's a terrible thing. It's a tragedy. I really shouldn't be making light of it. It's very serious. There's a whole race, a whole species, really, of people that are being exploited for their resources, if you know what I mean. I was hanging out with my dad the other day. You know how he is. He's got his theories, but he's a little bit of a conspiracy theorist, but sometimes even he gets a little weirded out by some of this stuff. He got a call from an acquaintance of his, and they were talking about how things weren't going so well. Like, oh, I don't remember exactly what they were saying in the build-up to what she said later, but she was something like, oh, you know, yeah, things have just been feeling really off lately or something, whatever. And then she drops the bomb. She goes, oh yeah, this probably has something to do with the fact that Mercury is in retrograde. And I gotta tell you, me and my dad both slowly turned and looked at each other, and we just had this look. And I couldn't tell you what face I was making, but he was making a face I've never seen. He looked disgusted. I don't know how else to put it. His face crumpled up, like all the folds and wrinkles all creased in his face. He looked genuinely, he looked disgusted, not in the way that any adult normally looks disgusted. He looks like a little kid was disgusted. Like his whole face was shriveled up. And it's kind of funny too, because my dad's the kind of guy to literally go on about how the Nephilim were responsible for building the pyramids. But even for him, astrology is too far. Which is pretty funny, I think. Take any individual conspiracy theorist. They're likely going to believe in a host of theories, right? There's gonna be tons of overlapping Venn diagrams that they're in the middle of. But then sometimes there'll be theories that they don't agree with. and they turn over and look at those people like they're idiots. Like like my dad believes in every conspiracy theory under the book. He believes in chemtrails. He doesn't believe in flat Earth, but he's like, oh, you know, it could be plausible. I mean, you don't know for sure. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. And then, like, with astrology, like, what the hell? This guy's crazy. He thinks that the stars inform our decisions? That's fucking nonsense. No. But you can manifest stuff, though. You know, if you just tell the universe you really want something, you can get it. But it's not the stars doing it, for fuck's sake. That's fucking crazy. So if you're like me, you probably went through an angsty atheist phase. I used to go on the old classic YouTube.com. I don't know if you've ever heard of this crazy website called YouTube.com. You should check it out sometime. They got all sorts of crazy videos on there. They got Charlie Bit My Finger video. They've got It's Over 9,000 Sparta remix. But anyway, I was on YouTube watching these debates between Christians and atheists, and in the modern day, the equivalent of this would be like the Jubilee videos, where it's like Jordan Peterson debates 20 Marxists or whatever. Hassan versus 20 dogs. Now that would be a crazy debate. Hassan debates 20 dogs, each of which are equipped with an electric taser. Oh my god. That's crazy. Anyway, how did I get on this? Oh yeah, so basically that's the modern equivalent. But back in the day, we had Christian versus atheist debates. And one of the goats from back in the day was William Lane Craig. But of course, you know, you had your old goats on the atheist side, your Sam Harris's, your Christopher Hitchens. Chris Hitchens was a demon on the debate stage. I don't necessarily think his argumentation was extremely strong, but in a debate setting specifically, dude, he was a serial murderer, this guy. He couldn't formulate a solid philosophical argument from point A to B to C to D and so on and get you to a satisfying conclusion, but in the impromptu arena of public debate, bro was locked in. If I can find it, I'll put a link in the description. There's an old debate between Chris Hitchens and William Lane Craig, and it was probably the only time I think Chris Hitchens has ever lost a debate with a Christian. As far as Christian apologists go, I think Mr. Craig is definitely the most reasonable and intelligent of the bunch. Maybe number 2 would be potentially Richard Swinburne. And maybe there's others that I just don't know about. These are just the big ones. Mr. Craig was always one of the more reasonable, and it's kind of sad to see how old he's getting. Yeah, 76. I mean, he's doing okay for 76. I mean, there's not very many people that are not completely chopped at 76. So I think he's doing alright for being that age. But anyway, the reason I bring this up is because he had a recent debate with Alex O'Connor, and their debate was actually hilarious. Not because of anything either one of them said, but entirely because of the moderator. I implore all of you, I will put the link to this one in the description as well. The first, within the first 20 minutes of the video, the moderator introduces them. William Lane Craig makes his statement, and I think the guy, drinks water wrong, and he, chokes, and the water gets in his lungs a little bit, and so he starts coughing. But it's in the middle of Alex O'Connor's statement, so he's desperately trying not to cough, so as not to interrupt the debate, right? He's wearing his little microphone on his body, so every time he coughs, it's echoing through the microphone, and it's way louder than what Alex is trying to say. And so he's trying to hold his coughs in, and it's so funny because it gets to the point, and I don't know if any of you have been in this situation, where you've needed to cough in a scenario where you're trying to make as little noise as possible. So he gets to a point where he's genuinely giving everything in his body, trying to hold back from coughing. He's holding his breath. His face is turning red. His eyes are probably starting to tear up. Like, it's getting to the point where he's like, and like every once in a while a little cough will slip out because he literally can't control it. Oh my god, it's so funny because it's so cartoonishly distracting. It totally ruins Alex's opening statement. You don't remember any of it. At some point he excuses himself from the room to like actually be able to cough, and I don't know what's going on in the sound department, but they don't even bother to turn off his microphone, so you can still hear him coughing over the entire debate. Dude, it's hilarious. Big recommendation. All of this transpires like in the first 15-20 minutes of the video. Highly recommend. Highly recommend. Very funny. Speaking of coughing, I covered my face the other day and I let it all out. Get that shit out of my system. I opened up the palm of my hand that I coughed into, and I shit you not, there was a little red Pikmin looking back up at me. I mean, what would you guys do in that situation, realistically? Because for me personally, I just tossed him in the trash. You know, I don't have any use for a red Pikmin. But I don't know, what would you guys do? Would you guys have, I don't know, saved it? Maybe tried to, like, give it to someone so they can take care of it? I mean, it's a little Pikmin. They're basically worthless. You know, I find them in my garden all the time. You know, they're kind of pesky, you know what I mean? They eat my flowers. They leave little feces speckles around patio. They're quite a nuisance, to be honest with you. So I just stomp on them, you know, whenever I see them. They just smush them. They squish. They don't even make a crunch. It's just like a soft squish, you know, when you step on them. Get a little paper towel, a little wet paper towel, wipe off the little smudge spot. It's basically like, it's like killing a housefly. It just leaves a little smudge. You just wipe it off with a wet paper towel. Who would win, Homelander or one red Pikmin? Yeah, I'm pretty sure the red Pikmin, no diffs. Powerscalers are hilarious because instead of looking at like the spirit of a character, instead they just look at like on text, no subtext, just what is written in the show, what they actually do. No like deeper thought whatsoever. So they see, oh, you know, Homelander like gets like a pencil shoved in his ear or something. I don't remember. I think, doesn't Queen Maeve like take a big pencil and put it in his ear really hard? So he is less durable than a pencil, according to Powerscalers. But it's like, okay, that's just bad. It's just badly written. If Homelander were to bash his head against a pencil laying on the table, the pencil would be like atomized. It would be like disintegrated. It would turn into but shards and slivers, right? But because the writers of the show are really inconsistent and frankly not good, they're like, oh yeah, you know, Queen Maeve is so strong that she puts a pencil in his ear. I don't think it was actually a pencil. It was like something else. I don't remember what though. What was it? Jarvis, look up scene of Queen Maeve putting a pencil in Homelander's ear. That is the second time on this show that I've made a joke about someone inserting a pencil into their body. I don't know what where is this coming from? I've never in my whole life made jokes about people putting pencils in their body until I started recording for this show. What am I on about? What the fuck am I on about? What was I even talking about? I gotta back it up a little bit. Do a little bit of a rewind. Now, what the fuck was I talking about? Oh yeah, power scaling. From my point of view, you should look at feats to determine how powerful a fictional character is, right? You gotta look at their feats on some level, but also, generally, like, if someone has a truly exceptional feat that it doesn't really make sense that they'd be able to do that, I think it's perfectly fair to, like, take a law of averages approach and just sort of rule that out as, like, an outlier. If Homelander has only ever once been damaged by a pencil and never again, and items that are less strong than a pencil have not been able to damage him, it's probably fair to say, okay, pencils don't really damage him. You know what I mean? Does this make sense to anybody? I think it makes perfect sense to me. Take this one on for size, power scalers. One time I took a bunch of acid and I could literally see exactly what I was gonna do like 20 or 30 seconds before I actually did it. Not even lying. I could literally see, it was almost like I could see versions of me acting out the future, and then it would slowly click into place, and then I would be living that event in the present. So according to the rules of power scaling, that's my feat. Basically, I think I could beat Daredevil in a fight pretty handily. I think I could cook him, right? Is that what the kids say? I could cook him. Now, to be fair, although I could see what I was gonna do 20 seconds into the future, I couldn't actually change the result of what was gonna happen. I was just observing it. So it's not entirely clear how useful that power would be in a fight. I'd probably just be seeing myself getting my ass kicked by Daredevil 20 seconds in the future, and I'd be like, oh no, I'm about to get my ass kicked, and I can't do fuck about it. So, I don't think, maybe that power wouldn't really help me out that much. Actually, it might just make it worse. Because now instead of just getting hit really hard in the head with a baton and then having my ears ring, now I get to see it happen and have the dread of I'm about to be clobbered by a baton and fall on the ground lifeless. And I can't do anything about it. So, I think maybe Daredevil wins that one. It's interesting, going back and playing these old games really makes you appreciate the advancements that have come since, how far we've come. Just little quality of life things that we just take for granted nowadays, but didn't exist back in the day. Like, what the hell do you mean I can't rotate the camera by pressing Q and E? What do you mean? I can't even... WASD does not move the screen, by the way. I have to manually... If you've been noticing my gameplay for this, I have to manually move the screen with my mouse cursor. Like it's fucking League of Legends. There is no scrolling with the scroll wheel. The scroll wheel does nothing. To zoom in, you have to manually press the zoom in button. These are little quality of life things that just make games, like, for example, Zoo Tycoon 2, just infinitely more enjoyable and approachable. But I guess it just wasn't standardized at the time, so you just had to manually click on everything. I don't know when in shooter games the R button being the fire button was introduced, but I first noticed that in real time in the Ratchet & Clank series. Like, if you go back and play the original releases for the Ratchet & Clank games, like you go back and play the original one for the PlayStation 2, you had to shoot your gun was one of the, like, thumb buttons. I don't remember if it was X or circle, but it was one of those. I think X was jump, maybe, and circle was shoot, or something like that. It's like, okay, you're telling me that I have to aim with my right thumb and then move my right thumb over to shoot while not aiming? And then, of course, you jump forward to Ratchet Deadlocked, which, by the way, same console. By default, you shoot with the right trigger. It's it's kind of mind. It makes you wonder how did people even play these games before the shit was standardized? It's kind of mind blowing. I mean, I can't even really say there's a unique special charm to it because it's just fucking annoying, really. You know, I guess there's other things to like about these old games, right? I like the simplicity of Zoo Tycoon. I tried to get into the whole Planet Zoo thing, but it was just too much. It was overwhelming. You know, I'm not usually the kind of guy to complain about too many customizations, but I challenge you to just try to make 4 exhibits and not have it take 10 hours. Maybe I just got a bad case of the aughts, but I feel like it just takes ages to get anything done in that game because, frankly, there's so many things to do. It's not, in this game, it's like, oh, you just pick the right kind of trees, you pick the right kind of fence, and you put up some statues, whatever, set a bench and a trash can for people to, like, throw up in or jack off in. Whatever people do in trash cans in public, I don't even know. But, no, in this game, it's like, Oh, you can customize the signs. You can customize the signs? You can make your own unique custom buildings from scratch, wall by wall, and choose the type of wood that you want to use. It's like, alright, well, that's cool and all, but if I really wanted to get into Planet Zoo, frankly, I would need to quit my job. And as it stands right now, that's not an option. So if I had been in the mood to play a classic zoo sim, my options were essentially limited to only Zoo Tycoon 2. And that was the only option. But I figured, it'd be fun to go back and try out the old one. Maybe I'll return to this later. Well, that'll be it for today, I suppose. Kind of a schizo episode. Apologies. Stay tuned for more episodes, and I'll see you next time.